We have 2 additions to the farm yesterday. What's this one's name?
Blue.
This one's name is Blue, and this one's name is Molly. 2 little ponies for the girls. This one has lots of energy. It's been running laps around our little pasture here. And this one's just a little sweetheart. See you later. Back to my grumpy face. I've been talking to a lot of beekeepers about their bees and the weather, and everybody is extremely frustrated with this weather. We can't get our work done. Everybody is staggered. Some guys' hives are in better shape than others. The guys that are going through and targeting these strong colonies, as I am, trying to provide some space for them, trying to allow them to expand. Everybody's in the same dilemma. It seems there's some beekeepers that are just automatically putting that space underneath just to protect the integrity of that cluster. Like, we're going to see -7s, -5, -7s for the next 2 or 3 nights. So maybe that's what I should have done too. But then there's other beekeepers like myself, just anticipating this huge glut of work ahead of us, and I don't know, putting the space on top and just kind of rolling the dice in hopes that the colonies will, expand and then take up that top box and make it part of their nest and just carry on as usual. I think I'm just providing a little bit of self-doubt here, but I really don't know what. So I want to poke down into a few of these colonies just to take a look and see what's exactly happening. That bottom box is a box of bees. I've gone through the apiary now, the entire apiary, and we've been targeting all the colonies that are 8 frames and over. Those colonies will be holding roughly 3-4 frames of brood that are just on the verge of emerging. So when they emerge, they're going to need space. I decided to go up on top, drop the boxes up on top, in anticipation that these colonies, the big ones that we're putting them out on, are big enough they'll be able to, just kind of envelope up into that top box and then just carry on development as if nothing's happened. So I'm just going to take a peek to see if what I anticipated is actually happening here. These bees are on the feeder pail. That is a really good sign. We have pails on absolutely every colony now. Big ones or small ones. Everything has feed. We got through yesterday and everything has more supplement on. So all these colonies are drinking down the syrup. So that's good. That means this is cold weather. That means the bees are moving up to take the syrup. Just try to do this without disturbing them too much. So what I want to see is I want to see if those bees are moving up into this top box and in effect turning this top box into part of their cluster. And if they're doing that, then I don't have to worry about the integrity of this cluster down here if they're actively able to raise the ceiling. I don't have my bee suit here. They're going to get me. They're a little pissed. So they have filled, this is a really good sign. They have filled every seam in that top box. That looks really good. It kind of eases me a little bit. So what's all my fuss about? What I'm worried about is when I had my lid on here, this is the ceiling to this colony. They had organized their nest down in this bottom box according to their ceiling right over top of them. I slap another box on top of them. I just give them a lot more house to maintain directly above that cluster, and it just changes all those cluster dynamics down within that bottom box. The temperature, humidity, just the way they organize their cluster around their brood. Instantly this cluster has received space over top of it, and in a way instantly they have to reorganize themselves, reorganize the cluster itself to be able to maintain all the work they've got done and achieved down below. Now that's not going to matter to a colony like this, which has girth to it, which has very effectively and instantly kind of moved their cluster up to fill this top box to be able to maintain all the dynamics going down below. This colony I don't expect to see any stress whatsoever, but a colony that is a little bit smaller, those are the ones I'm really concerned about. The ones that maybe are borderline, I put all that space up overhead. They have to reorganize all their work down here to be able to maintain what they have going on in here. Because of all this headspace, their ceiling has moved up. It'll induce just a little bit of stress to these colonies, and it's that little bit of stress I'm fussing about. It's that stress that just opens up the opportunity for disease to then come in and take foothold. Just that little point in time where the bees are kind of maybe just shocked a little bit because of the cold weather, maybe because of malnourishment, because there's not as much food coming in, and because of my management practice here, which just changes their house a little bit, just kind of pulls them back just a little bit. Just that instant, just that little point in time, just a little bit of stress provides opportunity. That opportunity is taken by disease absolutely every time. It'll come in and take its foothold. So what I'm going to see, I'm expecting the big ones like this to, just walk right through this. But the ones that are a little more borderline, that I maybe experience that little bit of stress, I'm expecting to see maybe a little bit of chalk brood thrown out the front as those bees try to reorganize their cluster and just and maybe chalk brood would kick in. And that's in times past when I've done this and I wasn't careful enough about the girth of colony. I was putting space up on top. For the next 2.5 weeks, I was seeing little chalk brood piles in front of the entrance as the bees just clean out their nest, kick out all that disease out the front. This time around, I'm focusing on workload. So the easy answer is to simply put this space underneath the cluster. That way it maintains the ceiling over top of that cluster and maintains all the cluster dynamics. They don't have to reorganize themselves, and when the brood hatches out, it just gives them a place for the brood just to hang and look after themselves. I didn't do that because of my anticipated workload ahead of me. I wanted to have these colonies progress and move forward the entire time. And I didn't want to physically go through and put boxes underneath, because then you got to put that box that you put underneath back on top for that queen to naturally move up. So we went through these last few days, and we specifically targeted the strong ones, assuming that these strong ones would not be interfered by this cold weather and such, and they would be able to handle the space that we put on top. Anything over 8 frames, we put boxes on top. Anything under 8 frames, we've left alone. So now that's That's good because it's kept these colonies tight in their little singles. But now when this weather breaks, we're going to have a boatload of strong colonies still in single boxes that are going to need attention right now. Which is no problem, because we'll just simply, when the weather breaks, we'll just go into overdrive, we'll work a little bit harder, and we will just go through the apiary, target those stronger units within the stock, skim them down a little bit just to boost up the smaller ones. So there is no real answer here. Workload, workload, workload. Trying to deal with the weather. Just how do we best deal with this weather? How do we help these colonies progress? How do we manage our workload?